So I suggest that we begin with electing 3 auditors of the Treasurer's report and 2 scrutineers of the voting process. So these are the first 2 things that we need to do. So there have been some volunteers. So for the auditors, we have Karin Semla, we have Danielle Cozzoli, and we have another volunteer. Thank you so much. Are there any other volunteers? I don't see any. Do we unanimously approve these 3 persons as auditors of our Treasurer's report? Yes? Okay. Are there any objections to that? Okay. So, okay, very good. So you've been appointed by the General Assembly as auditor. So perhaps you should start collaborating immediately with Erwin. You have already. Okay, good. Now, the second thing that we need to do is to elect 2 scrutineers of the voting process. Again, there have been 2 volunteers. Jaume Navarro and Kostas Tabakis. Are there any other volunteers? So do we, again, unanimously approve those 2 colleagues as scrutineers of the voting process? Yes, we do. Okay. Thank you. Okay, problem solved then. So some people want to leave because they have a flight to catch. So we won't follow this the order that I have on the slide. We will move directly to item number 13, which is presentation of the candidates for the new scientific board. We have to elect our new officers. Then the candidates may, if they wish, they may say a few words. They all have their statements uploaded on our website. Okay, so presumably you must have read those statements, but I will invite all those candidates who are present to say a few words, no more than 10 minutes, excuse me, 2 minutes each, 10 minutes. Yeah, and then we can vote. Now the voting process. You are the expert on the voting process, so you will.
So yeah, while we have the presentations of the candidates, Jaume and Kostas are distributing the ballot papers. So if you come down, perhaps, not in a rush, but one each when there isn't a queue, they will give you the ballot paper. You'll take it back to your seat so that you can vote. That's obviously in an effort to kind of get quickly towards the end of this process. Yes, in doing that, please note, this is very important, that you have right to vote in this General Assembly only if you've been a member, you are a member of the society. That doesn't mean that you've been becoming a member by attending this meeting here in Brussels, but you've been either at the previous ESHS meeting in Bologna, or you've subscribed for the society in between the meeting in Bologna and the beginning of this Brussels conference. Yes, Mathieu. If they have been subscribing as early career scholars for the society, yes. So if their name is in the list.
That was all. Okay. When you're ready. Okay. So. Okay. On this slide, you see the people who have been nominated by the scientific board. For president-elect, we have Simone Turcetti. For secretary, Roberto Lali. For treasurer, we have Erwin Noyensvander. Webmaster, Elizabeth Demol. Web editor and communication officer, Laura Georgescu. Archivist, Erica Luciano. Public relations officer, Hugo Soares. Well, The editor-in-chief of Centaurus is not up for election, happily. And then we have individual members, Dimitri Bayuk, Mathieu Hasson, Pietro Amodeo, Giulia Rispoli. And then we also have candidates as representatives of their institutions. We have 5 candidates for 4 positions. We have Josep Simon from the Catalan Society for the History of Science and Technology, Anna Simoes, whom you all know, she's a candidate for as a representative of the Center for the History of Science and Technology in Lisbon. There is Gemma Sirac Laveras from the Institute of History of Science in Barcelona, Alfred Freeborn from the Max Planck Institute, and Brigitte, who again needs no introduction or presentation, from the Science History Institute. So I will invite all those candidates who are present to say a few words if they wish. As I said, their statements are available on our website, and presumably you must have had a chance to read their statements. But if you wish, you may say a few words, no more than 10 minutes. So Simon, do you want to start?
Okay, I'll be very quick. And first of all, just say that all the statements are also available on our website. So we've all already stated what we intend to do if we are elected. That's also the case for me. I'll say just briefly 2 things very quickly. The first, I have been the secretary of the society for 2 terms. So I think, one of the perhaps advantages I could bring in the new role of president-elect is to use this knowledge that I've acquired in the last 4 years about the society and use it for its benefit. I know obviously the current president, the new president, and all the members that are currently in the society. So I can use that knowledge, I think, for the benefit of the society. The other thing that I'd like to do if I'm elected as a president is continuing a work that has been started in the previous term, and that consists of trying to make the society not just this very lively, very vibrant society that unites scholars with similar interests in the history of science in Europe and outside Europe, but also help in making the society more closer to other societies that operate at a European level. That's what work that our PR officer, Roberto Lalli, has started by welcoming more institutional members. I like that we start a conversation with these societies, these institutional members, so as to essentially start to coordinate the activity of the European Society for the History of Science with other history of science society that are very active at European level. So that's pretty much what I'd like to do. And obviously anything else that will be of assistance to the society from now on.
Roberto, do you want to say a few words? It's up to you. I mean, if you prefer not to.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be nominated. I also am very scared. So if you don't want to vote, please don't. I will go into the continuation of what has been done. I will try to essentially to improve as much as possible the organizational part, but essentially following the political lines that will be given by the presidents, and trying to improve the connection, the communication with members, institutional members. This is, I think, my priorities, but we will see later what happens.
Thank you. I see that Erwin is busy. Erwin, would you like to say a few words? No. Okay. Okay. Lisbeth is not here. Laura is not here, but Erica is here, I think. Where is Erica? Yeah, if you want to say a few words, no? It's not necessary. Okay. Okay. Hugo is not here. Dimitri? Where is Dimitri? Yeah, if you want to say a few words. No more than 2 minutes.
Actually, I think that many know me because I was a member of our society since 2016, and I'm quite difficult situation because I'm from Moscow, and my family comes from Ukraine, and now I'm in political sense, it's very uncertain situation. So I cannot present the country, the citizens of which I am, but nevertheless, I completely support the position of the society, and I think that one of the society's the missions of the society is to support scholars who in their turn support the humanitarian values of our society, and nevertheless they are suppressed in the situation of their political regimes. I think that it's not something exceptional. It more or less common situation in our world, which is not perfect, as we know, but we have to improve it. And our activity, one of the goals, one of the lessons we learn from the history is to improve our world. So this, I think that I stay for this.
Mathieu, here you are. Say a few words.
Merci, thank you. So hi everybody, I'm Mathieu Husson. I've been in the society board since 2014, I think. First as webmaster and then as a member of the scientific board. And well, if you give me your trust for one last term, I would like to continue working, especially with the Early Career Network, and try to push them in developing their different initiatives. That's it.
Okay, I see Anna. Do you want to say something? Yeah. Are you voting? But if you want to say something on behalf of your institution.
I am terminating my term as vice president, so I was involved in this extremely challenging and very fruitful and nice job of being part of the presidential group of 3. It was an amazing experiment, and I am candidate as to institutional member as a representative of the Inter-University Center for the History of Science and Technology. And I think that I can bring my expertise both as someone that has worked at national level in building the, I would say, the best research center in the history of science in our country, better internationally connected also, and also by my work at the European Society for the History of Science, and that's it.
And then Brigitte will say a few words also as a candidate for the Science History
Yeah,
Institute?
very quickly. So since 2 years now, the Science History Institute is an affiliate member of the European Society for the History of Science. So why is the Science History Institute based in Philadelphia a member of a European society? Good question. First off, because it's my friend and colleague Roberto who was trying to find the affiliates, and he knew me, and I couldn't say no to him. So that was one thing. The other thing is that we do have an office in Paris, and that the Science History Institute is not an American institute. It is an institute that really wants to spread the good news and the good life of science, history of science across the world. Voilà.
And the final, last but not least, Erwin Neuenswander will say a few words.
Okay, it's a pleasure to say a few words about me, but you should know me. I'm one of the founding members of a society in Paris. I was already there, and I try to help the society in any way I can. And for example, with the Neuenschwander Prize, which is now 20,000 euros. So, but I perhaps help also in other instances, and I could help. That's the reason why I wasn't here in the beginning. I should help somebody who ran out of money. So I'm here for financial systems problems. And if you have connected to the society, you can come to me. Okay, it's a pleasure to serve the society.
Okay, now I will move to a few urgent items that we need to decide upon. Okay, which is the amendment of the statutes. Now, the first is just a reformulation having to do with the fact that the character of our journal has changed, so there is no point in talking about, a subscription, individual subscription to the journal. So we changed the formulation a bit, and the new version, as you may see in red letters, says that membership dues provide essential support to the publication of Centaurus, as opposed to giving the right to our members to access Centaurus. I mean, access is by default, as it were. So does everyone agree with this reformulation, or are there any objections? Okay, I don't. So this is approved. Okay, let's do it the other way. I mean, if there are objections, then okay. Now we added a new position to the editorial, to the scientific board. Excuse me, I'm starting to losing my words. The representative of the Early Career Network. The Early Career Network is very important to our society. It's young blood. I mean, the future of our society, and they have been doing very interesting and important work. They have already organized 2 conferences, one in Paris and one in Athens, that have been very successful. And we thought that it's high time for them to be represented on the board. So we added this new position, representative of the Early Career Network. So is everyone happy with this? Okay, again, I don't see any objection. So this has been voted for. And then here we specify what this person will do. Will be responsible for mediating the relations between the Early Career Network and the European Society, and for promoting joint initiatives. And again, as the other officers, the ECN representative may be re-elected once. I mean, we just formalize something that has been going on for some time. Okay, the Early Career Network, as I said, has been very active. Its representatives have been working, but now we will acknowledge that, quote unquote, formally. Now, so this is, in a way, again, I don't think there's any objection to that, but Kun may want to say something. Yeah, no. not this time. They will be nominated, okay, and in the next conference, in the 2024 conferences, then they will be voted, okay. Yeah, of course. They are nominated by the early career, but then will be voted by the General Assembly. Yeah. So again, a slight reformulation about the dues and what the dues are for. We say here explicitly that the dues, the membership fees, will be partly used to support the publication of Centaurus. Okay, we make that explicit. Because in the old version, again, the membership fees were part of the membership fees were used to for the subscription to Centaurus. Now we don't have individual subscriptions to Centaurus, so we had to change that. Again, are you happy with this rephrasing? Yeah. Hmm? Yeah, I mean, we didn't put that in the statutes because this is yeah. What? Yeah. I have to say, I have to admit, I don't recall now, but we in the agreement that we have with Brussels, it's in the agreement. Okay, so it's but I don't remember what percent. That's what the discount that our members have. Frank, you want to say something? Ah, okay. Okay, no objections here either. So, okay. So we are done with the statutes. Now the raise of membership fees. Again, this is something that the scientific board proposes to the General Assembly. We're talking about a very small raise of the fees. So normal fees should be raised from 25 to 30 euros. From 25 to 30 euros. This is a real bargain, I have to say. I'm a member of other societies and I have to pay much more. The early career scholars, again, should be raised slightly from 15 to 20 euros. And we also have promotional rates at our conferences. So again, this should be raised from 30 to 40 euros. This is for 2 years. Okay, so the membership for 1 year is just 20 euros. And for the early career scholars from 15 to 20 euros. So it's a very small amount for an early career scholar, just 10 euros per year to support the society. We think this is a very reasonable fee and it will make a big difference to our society. Okay. Simone, do you want to say something? No? Okay, I made a mistake. Please correct me.
40 euros is the normal rate. It's 40 euros the normal rate for 2 years, not only if people register for the conference. No, the one at the bottom. Ah, okay.
Okay. No problem. So any questions? Yes. Yes. Yeah, but if you, yeah. So it's 40 euros as opposed to 60 euros. Right? No, would have to pay 20 euros times 2, that's 40 euros. But if you become a member during your conference, then it's just 20, it's half of that. That's for free. No, that's so far. I mean, they haven't made it. They didn't charge the registration fees. So we may have to think about that. But so far, attendance has been free to those conferences. All right? Am I right? or did you charge registration fees? You don't remember? I'm pretty sure that in Athens we didn't charge anything, but it was an online meeting. Okay, okay, but that's not for this wasn't money that was for the society, but it was just to cover the cost of the meeting. Are you all happy with this small raise? No? What is it that you have to check?
The first early career scholars meeting, which was held in Paris. And I was just asking her, okay, please check if there were fees or not, because I can.
15 euros. Okay. But again, that was for covering the cost of the meeting and not, I mean, not just money for the society. So, okay. Okay. Has everyone voted? I haven't. Oh, I haven't. Okay. 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 Now almost everyone has voted apart from me. So is it okay? Ah, okay. There's more people coming. Okay. So okay.
Last orders for voting. Vote now or quiet forever. Yeah. Well, not too much. We have to open it afterwards. Don't make it difficult. So anyone left? 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, cool.
Good. Okay, thank you. Let me see. Okay. And one more urgent matter, and then we can resume normal business. About European Society, the European Society meeting for 2024. That was scheduled to take place in Russia. Okay, it was back in the old days. We had decided to. I mean, we had the proposal from our Russian colleagues. The proposal had been discussed by the scientific board members, and it was approved in the Bologna meeting, if I'm right. It was approved by the General Assembly. No? No. Yeah. No. I have a different recollection, but we can check the minutes. And no, in Bologna, the proposal of the Russian Society was approved, but then they had to come up with a more detailed proposal. Okay, and they did that in before or after the Athens meeting. So it was approved. It was approved in Bologna. Okay, but yeah, not for Brussels, also for the 2024 meeting. It was approved. It was agreed to have it in somewhere in Russia, either St. Petersburg or Moscow. Anyway, after the war in Ukraine, we got a message from our Russian colleagues that obviously it wouldn't be possible to have the meeting in Russia, and I'm sure that even if they were still eager to do it, we might have some trouble doing it anyway. So at that point, we started exploring other possibilities, and we approached a fair number of colleagues in several countries. and the response wasn't positive. Okay. And then we issued a call. And again, so far we have received an informal expression of interest that we hope will materialize into a credible proposal over the next few weeks. Okay. And we may get a few more proposals along the way. We are thinking of extending the deadline to November 1. I think Dana suggested that, and I'm in full agreement with this. So we may reissue the call and give 2 more months to people to put together a credible proposal. So what we're asking from you as a scientific board is to give us more time to, organize the whole thing. It's not due to negligence on our part, but to the unusual circumstances that we've been through and we are going through, and we need more time to come up with a credible proposal for 2024. Do we have the time that we need, or you think that no time left? I understand that you don't really have a choice here, but it would be nice if you just said that you are happy with that and you're willing to give us more time. And that. Okay, again, I don't see any complaints or protestations, so I take that as a yes. So we do have the time that we need. So that's about it as regards the urgent matters that had to be taken care of. And now can be a bit more relaxed. We have about an hour, so we can go through the normal course of things. You have the report? You do, and it's okay? Okay, excellent. So our 3 auditors have decided. They have checked Erwin's report. They found it fine. So the report is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, let me give you some numbers. Just before Brussels, we had 606 members. You see the distribution per country. We have members from pretty much everywhere, but most of our members come from France, Germany, Italy, of course, because of the Bologna meeting. That's no surprise. The UK, the USA, Spain, Russia, Portugal, some from Greece, from Austria. So it's a very diverse society in terms of membership. Now, according to the data that I was given by the organizers, 407 scholars have registered for the conference. That's less than the Bologna meeting, but that's fully understandable because it was much easier for people to register to an online conference. And actually this is slightly higher than the number of participants in the London conference. I think in the London conference it was 380 participants or something like that. Again, a very diverse group. Out of those 407 scholars, we got 101 graduate and doctoral students, and 75 scholars who just attended the conference, for the fun of it. I mean, they didn't present anything. I think it's very nice. So all these people are our new members. Okay, so we have to work a bit to raise that number to 600 in the meantime. But I think we're doing well. And here there's another figure that shows the distribution among countries. Okay. So when you see zero, it's not exactly zero, but it's close to zero. Now, we've done that. My report. I will be very brief. It's the end of the conference. It's been a long day, so I don't want to go through my full report. I've written a relatively detailed report that explains what we have been doing, some of what we have been doing for the past 2 years. So one new thing, a relatively new thing, is that we have had many virtual meetings. We met roughly every 2 months with the other members of the scientific board over Zoom, and we had countless meetings with the presidents and Kuhn and the Brussels people. Okay, that helped a lot. That helped a lot, not only in the sense that we discussed pending issues and that we drew upon the collective wisdom, as it were, of our board, but also that create a sense of community. So the board, we know each other fairly well. We've been discussing things, and that created a sense of being engaged in a collective undertaking, in having a common cause, and so on. That was very important. And I don't know, this is up to Dana now to decide, but I would be very much in favor of continuing this mode of interaction. Now, we had 2 meetings in Athens, the in-between meeting. Both of them were virtual meetings. If you go and read my report, you will read there are links to those meetings, and the talks to the in-between meetings, meeting are available on the website. Okay, so if you go to the website, then you will be able to watch almost all of the talks. And the second Early Career Scholars Conference, again, was a very big success, and I think that our early career colleagues are doing a great job. Now, with respect to Brussels, I don't want to say anything. You've been through the meeting. Brigitte, whom I don't see but must be around, she will give a brief assessment of the conference very soon. Now, you've heard about Centaurus. That was probably the most important thing that we did for the society. It had some difficult moments. You have to read Kuhn's report to get a sense of what those moments were. Lots of surprises, for the most part, negative surprises that gave us, some headaches. But I think that the outcome was very positive. As usual, we gave. I want to talk more about Centaurus. I will ask Kuhn to present his very detailed, an outline of his very detailed report. We gave grants again to early career scholars. We supported the early career scholars lectures. The Annoyance Wonder Prize that this year, as you know, went to Simon Saffer. I think that's very good for the society to give prizes to widely recognized scholars. This is not just an honor for the person who gets the prize, but also it honors the society. We try to expand our membership, and especially our institutional members. Roberto did amazing work here. The website, we have a new website. The old website was not functional, I think, or it wasn't as functional as the new one. And the new one is also very, very pleasant to look at. And we are really indebted to Elizabeth Demol, who couldn't be with us, but she has done a lot of work for the website. Also the archive. We had the paper archive, and Erika again single-handedly turned that archive into digital form. So thank you so much. I told you about ESHS 2024. There was a failure to open a bank account. This may sound ridiculous, and in some respect it is, because we've been trying to open a bank account in France for more than 3 years now. And that involved, all the presidents, past presidents. Karine was involved. I mean, Mathieu, whom I don't see there, he lost a lot of hair, trying to do that. It was really an impossible battle to win. The French bureaucracy is, I don't know, even worse than the Greek one. They came up with all kinds of, obstacles. They couldn't find, where we are registered in France. We came up with a document. We found a document actually. And then, we signed documents. Mathieu went to the bank several times. Karine went with him. And then towards the end, when we were, almost sure that the bank account would open, we got an incredible letter saying that they decided not to open a bank account for us without explanation. Okay. Karine complained, she wrote a letter, but nobody cared. So that's something that we have to resolve. It's a technical issue, but it is connected to membership. So we have to do whatever we can to solve that problem, and we promise to do that. Now, again, I won't say more. Just a big thanks to everyone, to the presidents, to Kuhn, to Simon, to Roberto, to Erika, all those members, to Brigitte, all those members who are not present, to Erwin, of course, all those members who are not of the scientific board who are not present. They worked a lot. They were always available, and again, we all worked in a spirit of collaboration, and I really cherish that. I mean, if when I grow older, I will remember that period, not just for what has been accomplished, but for that spirit of camaraderie. So thank you so much. Yeah. No. Yeah. But the other thing that we did is we recorded all of those meetings. So this will be part of the society's archive. So if someone wants to to check, what it is that we were discussing, she or he will be able to do that. Okay. I think Simon should be able to help. Okay. While Simon helps our scrutineers, Anna, I will invite Anna to say a few words. Can I just open your mic, or you will get the question?
Okay, I will just say a few words. Of course, I'm sure that you read all reports and very attentively. I just want to say that it's amazing that 6 years have already passed. This is really amazing that 6 years passed. It was an amazing collaboration. And I think that the way the European society is organized is really a very democratic and effective one. The idea of having at every time a trio of presidents is a very, very efficient, useful, and also has been a very friendly organization. So in my case, I was able to profit from a sort of extended presidential partnership, which came with Karine Chemla, Tony Mallet, then Theo Arabatsis, and Dana Jalobiano. And I really think that this works very, very well. So during, I'm not, and also because what you heard Theo say concerning the website, concerning the bank account, concerning Centaurus, he didn't mention the regulations, but all these were activities that in fact started, 6 years ago. And some of them are coming to a close now. The French bank account, unfortunately, everything came to the very beginning, and we are starting from scratch after quite an ordeal. But so this is why this organization really is important. As to my, to my 6 years, let me just, you have the summary of my report there, and you have all the other reports. Let me really just point that my major aim was to really strive for the society to be more plural as possible in the various dimensions. This was announced in my presidential address, and in a way was also was additionally reasserted, besides everything that I did throughout these years, in two projects in which I was involved. The Mapping the European Society Community, a survey which was advertised among all members. The results of the survey are online on our website. This survey, as all surveys, has shortcomings. Not many people answered the survey, or at least less people than we would have liked to. But concerning this survey, certainly diversity is at the core of the European Society for the History of Science. From the survey, it also came as a shortcoming that early career were not so involved. This can be, of course, a bias, a consequence of the people who answered the survey. But I think that even if this is not the case, the society has been doing an amazing job in order to help and to make the society really a society of young scholars, graduate students, postdocs, because it's with them that our community will have a future. It's not with people of my age, certainly. So the Early Career Network, which is extremely dynamic, the mentorship program in Centaurus, all these point to a society that is the support of early career, the early career lectures, and I'm not sure if I'm missing anything, really point to a society that is attentive to early career scholars. The other issue, the other activity, extra activity, so to speak, I was involved in, and of course these two activities I'm mentioning were done in conjunction with other people, with the support of many people, and this is also something that I enjoy, pretty much collaborative work. But I discussed it with Koen that it would be interesting to have a second virtual issue in our journal. We didn't know then that this was the second and last virtual issue of the Centaurus published by Wiley. And so in this virtual issue, what was done was to make a selection of papers since the time the journal was affiliated to the European Society until 2021, which reflected on historiographical questions associated with sciences in Europe. So to have an overview of how through Centaurus we really can have a sense of what are the considerations that were considered more pressing, more interesting from their respective authors. And so let me just finish by saying that there has been an amazing accomplishments that now we really have, according to my view, two main tasks. I mean, the bank account should be opened because it really is, it's important to have a sustainable membership, easiness of membership, getting sponsorship, support, so on and so forth. And of course, we have to make Centaurus as an open access, free for readers and authors. We have to have it as a sustainable thing. And so these 2 years will be very challenging. I don't think there have been any two years that were not all extremely challenging. In fact, what seems to be the case is that whenever we think that something was closed successfully, another one opens, and it looks like, okay, this looks like a nightmare, but we will manage. And I just thank everybody, the presidential partners, the scientific boards. I also thank Brigitte here, nor Agnes, I think, but I would also like very much to thank the organizers, the local organizers of this meeting for a wonderful meeting and for enable us to be here again in person. So thank you.
It's Constantine. Yeah.
I hope you like the new Centaurus logo. It's actually family work. So this is the new image of the journal. And I'm just going to present quickly some of the things that happened. I mean, we talked a lot about Centaurus already, I feel, in the last few days. So I don't need to say too much. So the journal has been doing, I think, really good. And that's also being recognized more and more in the rankings. If you believe these rankings, we have good news. These rankings, of course, have their defects and they're also lagging. And they're fluctuating, but I think what's up there is really nice. And I think it will, especially it will make the journal even more attractive to some of the authors who are really dependent on publishing in high-ranking journals. Another thing that I wanted to accomplish as editor is to integrate the journal better with the society. And I think that beyond expectations, we succeeded in that because the society is now a co-owner and a controlling co-owner, I would say, of the journal. And I think this makes a huge difference. And this was also a source of a lot of pain in the last few years in the discussions with Wiley, that the society basically had nothing to say about the journal. Read my report to know how that happened, because it wasn't written in the stars. There's a lot of backstory, but it worked out. And as I say here on the slide, beyond all expectations. So I'm really happy about that. And I think the society is also happy about this result. We became, as we know, a diamond journal. And I think this is really appropriate for the society. As a European society with many members who have like a very different amounts of resources, I think it's really helpful if we want to create a European-wide collaboration and discussion, that this journal is freely accessible, but also free for authors to contribute to. The network, the mentoring program is now being integrated in the early career network. I think that's also great. It involves the younger scholars more with the journal, but it also avoids bias from my side, kind of knowing that an article is being mentored may influence my decision as an editor. Well, now this is basically unknown to me, and the Early Career Network will take care of the mentoring program. And I'm happy to say, Mathieu, that we have 90 volunteer mentors who kind of clicked the right boxes on the inscription forms for this conference. So we have already a big pool of mentors. I think that's great news, and it's a great start for kind of building out this mentorship program within the society. And as before, the Centaurus involves society members for the selection of the special issues and for many more things. So we already were putting in place integration, but I think that really has expanded to an exceptional extent how the society has been involved in the journal. As you know, we changed publisher. As Johan was saying in the panel just before the assembly, it's really important that authors retain copyright, and this is now the case. This means that you are really the owner of your own paper, and that's almost unprecedented in publishing. Normally you sign away all your rights, and now this is your paper, this stays your paper, and you can use the final copy edited printed version for anything you want. You can share it with anyone and everywhere, and I think that's also really great news. And the journal is back in print version. We had a print version here earlier. Wiley had stopped the print version for individual subscribers, so we couldn't get access to the print anymore. Thanks to the move to Braypols, we have print again, which I think is really nice for us. Major challenges that I see is to consolidate, but also to prepare for the next phase of growth, because I think in this relationship with the society, there is still a lot of potential for growth and to make the journal even better. I think it really has the potential to become the best, or really one of the best journals in the field, really a reference. I mean, the rankings already say that, but still, even myself, though, maybe I don't fully believe it, but I think there is really lots of upside potential still, if we kind of really remain committed to the journal. And then, of course, a big challenge is to make the funding sustainable, and this is also work for the coming years. So also thank you to all of you who have contributed as reviewers, authors, the presidents with whom I've been working very closely. Thank you so much for making all this happen. Thank you.
Right, so I have no PowerPoints. I'm not gonna stay here for long. I'm just gonna say very few things. The most important of which is that work of the secretary is intensive, but often obscure. That is to say, it doesn't really come up that obviously in the kind of yes, I mean in the everyday kind of recognitions and activities of life. But anyway, I think I've done quite a lot of important things in my role. You've seen me essentially trying to provide as quickly as possible all the communications relating to the society. I was behind a number of very important processes, including the ballots that led to the selection of the early career scholars, of the Norway Schrander Prize winner. I was obviously helping every early career scholar that applied for grants to kind of get the grants, or at least to get a helpful message saying, sorry, I mean, the resources of the society are not that high. And unfortunately, in your case, the application has been unsuccessful. I'll finish with one note that I think is the only very important bit that I've learned being the ESHS secretary. This is a very thriving society, but it's also a society that actually lives by and large on the subscription that come from the conferences. We really struggled to retain the members after that 2-year period when they subscribed. And that's, I think, priority number one for the new scientific board that come into place. How is it that we retain the members that we have? That's not an easy and simple process. It entails structural changes. In particular, is either the secretary that contacts individually each single member living in the society, has to renew it, has to actually oversee the renewal process from top to end, also getting the subscription registered for each individual, and that would be an absolutely really a Sisyphean task. So it is impossible in that way. We need structural change. The main structural change that we need is fundamentally to have a system of automatic registration of memberships available in the society website, as it is for a number of other similar societies similar to ours. Unless we have that, I think we will continue to have this very fluctuating membership rates, whereby they subscribe, our numbers grow, and then everyone after 2 years just disappears.
Roberto, do you want to say something?
Thanks, Theo. So I will be very brief. My main goal when I was nominated, was elected as a peer officer, was to increase the number of institutional members, essentially. That was my main goal. And in fact, it was my main activity. But in order to do that, what has been done, and I would really be glad if you can go to the website and look at the resources. I helped to prepare, with the support of the entire board, a list of institutions, European or international, of different styles. So we have created a taxonomy and trying to list this institution. Of course, the list is far from complete, but is a first attempt to, in a way, have a map of institutional map of European and international institution in the history of science, technology, and medicine. And so if you want to look and see what is missing, and please write to us, the next PR officer, possibly. That was a first job. And the second job has been to contact some of the institutional members listed in the list, with sharing letters which has been drafted by the 3 presidents, which then showed which were the benefits of joining the society. And that was relatively successful in that we had 3 institutional members when I became PR officers, and we are now listed, at least they agreed to become institutional members, 13, which is quite a different number. I mean, it starts to it starts to lead the European Society of Digital Science as a node of institutional connection in Europe, and that is very interesting. It's the beginning of the process, not because the number is still, of course, something that needs to be improved, but because this might need in the next 2 years to build stronger connection between these institutions, which is the most important part. Not only the fact that they are paying an institutional membership and give some basis of stability. So this is, I think, what we did. But just underline that was my role, more or less, to organize this kind of campaign, but has been certainly a team effort. So it's been relatively successful because the team, all the board supported it. So thanks a lot.
Do you want to say something?
So very briefly, and I will start with the bottom. So I was elected as web editor and communication officer. And I was also, as you all know, organizing or co-organizing this conference. So at one point, I have to say that like a soldier, you have to think about which mission is the one only you can accomplish. And it turned out it was a conference. So on the web editor and communication officer side, it went really low. However, I was happy and fortunate to have colleagues and other officers on board who were somewhat doing something that could serve the communication and the website of the European Society for the History of Chemistry. This means also, and I want to salute Roberto. He just said what he achieved. Lisbeth de Mol, who is not with us, who did a tremendous job by reworking the website of the Simone, who always sends us emails that some of us do read. I am one of them. Of course, the other thing was to get into the 21st century with the social media, on which I am not very present. And luckily, we have early career scholars who volunteered to start a Facebook and a Twitter account, which they managed and filled in. And so I'm very grateful to all of my co-officers in this work, which was basically the transition from the newsletter to a spectrum of different channels of communication. And this leads me to say that I'm really happy about the candidate to succeed because it's a younger candidate. Surely she is on Facebook and on Twitter. And moreover, it remains, of course, for the scientific board to think about a strategy, because now we have more channels of communication. And then the question is, how do we prioritize the main messages? And I think this comes into what Simon says: how do we maintain the level of engagement and involvement of members in between societies?
Lisbeth could not attend this General Assembly, but she sent me a PowerPoint. Now, let me go very briefly over this slide. The main problem that we had with the old site was to control both content and structure, because the server did not belong to us, and we had to go through a difficult process of mediation and so on. So, and there was also a need for a more up-to-date look of the website. So we decided to migrate to another server, and where we would have additional web space, and also co-host the Centaurus along with Brepos. So some of the technical words here are opaque to me, but we had some discussion about which server to use, and of course we followed Lisbeth's advice. But apparently it's a very flexible server, and as he says here, it can be extended for other online activities. We have a web space for institutional members. Roberto and Lisbeth collaborate on this. Again, we have web space for Centaurus, which needs to be developed further. And Lisbeth, for the next 2 years, will be doing the general maintenance and management of the site. And as he says here, the goal is to develop the website to a point that it can be used by others in the future, and will be developed by future webmasters. So a big applause to Elizabeth for all your work. Erika.
So very, very briefly, because we all of us are tired. The archive of the Society of History of Science is, of course, the major place for doing our history, our collective history, our memory. When I was elected as an archivist of the Society, there existed just a paper archive, and nowadays all the documents that I was able to collect have been digitized, and a selection of this material has been uploaded in the dedicated section of the website, the session archive. Thank you so much to all of us, the past presidents, the members of the past local organizing committees of the conferences, and the in-between meetings for all the materials that they sent me. However, creating, organizing, conserving an archive is a collective task, it's a teamwork. And so the call is open. Nowadays, materials are still fragmentary as far as the very beginnings of the life of the society are concerned. And so everyone among you that have pictures, photos, materials, and so on concerning the life of the society is welcome. Please contact me through the mail, and I will be pleased to enhance and empower the archive section of the website and to conserve this material for the future historians of our discipline.
We have a result. So the scrutineers will announce the result.
Now the moment you've all been waiting. No. So when I was a kid, the only vote that was Europe-wide was the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, after so much European unification in institution, there's two moments I can vote: the European Song Contest and the ESHS, not more. So anyway, so basically the results are, as you might expect, 2 null votes. So since they're anonymous, learn how to vote next time. And President-elect Simon Turchetti, Secretary Roberto Lali, Treasury Erwin Noyens-Vanda, Webmaster Lisbeth de Mol, Web Editor and Communicators Officer Laura Georgescu, Archivist Erika Luciano, Public Relations Officer Hugo Suarez. Then we have individual members, part of the board, which are Dimitri Bayuk, Matthew Hesson, Pietro Medo, and Giulia Rispoli. And then we have the institutional members, of which the following have been chosen. That is Anna Shimoes, Gemma Sidak Claveras, Alfred Freebaum, and Brigitte van Tigelen. That's it.
Is it? Oh, okay, because I thought that, you know, after it was checked by, okay, you don't want to say anything. Please. No. It was a misunderstanding.
Okay. Perhaps you can put them the transparency so I can explain a little bit about that. Okay, it's not very big numbers, but if you need a copy, I guess it will be in the minutes. So I will explain. We started with 24,000 euros and we have now 53,000 euros. So our finances are very good for the moment. But the problem is we have new tasks because Centaurus went open offices, open access, and to pay this, we have serious task, but start first for income. If you look down, you see very well but the most big income comes really from the conferences. You see, the first one is a congress in London, 15,000. When the congress in Bologna, 16,000. So this is really our main income. So it's important when people come to our conferences, and this is indeed, as also our secretary said, the best way we earn money. Next, Roberto did really make a beautiful job, because if you see from the income in the first years, we had about 100 euros institutional members, and now we have about 1,000. So he did a beautiful job, and I hope that he will continue his job. And if we give more for institutional members, more web space, we could perhaps increase the contributions for you, so that we have more for the journal. Because if you look now on expenses, you see we had a very few. I mean, first we had to pay something for the organization of the Young Scholar Conference by Matteo Usso, and he received 1,000 euros, but he was able to pay most of it back. So this is a very little expense. When we had to pay Wiley for the subscription of the members, this normally would have been about 6,000 or I don't know how much euros, but Anna managed to bring it down to 820 euros. So this is again great. But if you go back down, you see that payment for the copy editor and payment perhaps if we have no more subscription to Centaurus. We have now, I heard something about 30. That's the reason I asked how many Wiley had about, an estimate. So how much can we go there? So I ask everybody here, go to your university and ask them to subscribe to Centaurus. This is important for the society. Okay, and if anybody has a question, he can ask now. And if anybody does not approve and give me décharge en French, should say now, otherwise the treasurer's report has been approved by the whole assembly. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, now it's Dana's turn. Just to say whatever you want about, your report and your plan of action. Not just close the conference.
Okay. It's yes, we do. After. Yeah, so I'm not closing the meeting, despite being late and us being tired. It has been I saw my role in the past 2 years basically centered upon learning as much as I can about the functioning of this institution. And I think I have learned a lot. The main thing I have learned is that this institution is ruled by a collective body of friends. And this has been fantastic to share with the other presidents and with the scientific board. Well, we've been through all sorts of crises, so we have shared a lot to share bad moments and to be successful, to get over all sorts of, as you were saying, bad surprises, unexpected surprises, and starting all over again, as with the famous bank account. I think we should offer a prize opening a bank account in France and then and then open this as, you know, whoever is able to do that should have our eternal gratitude and a small prize, at least a case of champagne or something like this. I wanted to say also that I have a lot of plans for the future, and I've been thinking of these plans, and I'm very glad that Laura Georgescu has accepted to be part of our board as web editor. And I'm so glad that the others have accepted to continue. I'm looking forward to get acquainted with the new members. And I hope that together we can do something that you already mentioned here, namely offer some incentive for membership for in between the two conferences. And I would like to, for example, I think that an incentive would be to have our own YouTube channel, something that I proposed already 2 years ago, but I was not able to do it all by myself. So I hope now that with some help from the members of the scientific board, I will be able to open a YouTube channel for the European Society for History of Science as a venue for talks that members of the society will give online in small groups or in large groups, and that can be uploaded there or even broadcasted on our own YouTube channel for the young generation of the 21st century, which is much more online than our generation or older generations. This is up for, this is an idea, and I have all sorts of ideas connected with it. It's part of my statement, but it's also something that it's up for us as a collective body to improve. So therefore, please feel free to send me notes on this issue and develop this proposal together with those of you who are more, who are more online or more on YouTube or know more about how to organize such things. I have 2 YouTube channels, so I know what I'm talking about. I can clearly open a third one without any problem, and I can develop it, and I know how to develop it, but I cannot do it all by myself. So I need help and support from this collective body. I think that having our own YouTube channel with talks at the beginning would give us an increased visibility among younger generations, among our students. And I think that if we have enough visibility and we reach to a serious membership of a couple of thousands, maybe 10,000 members on the YouTube channel, that might sound a lot, but it's not. If you give enough time and if you upload there a lot of materials, if we get to enough membership on the YouTube channel, then that can become a repository for other materials, such as open courses, for example, that one was mentioning a lot about open sources, okay? We all teach, and we can put behind the paywall some courses that would be available to the members of the society without fee, of course, but for a fee for other members, and so on. I mean, a YouTube channel can be an instrument to keep in contact, to improve our connections across Europe, to offer materials for those of us who are less fortunate and are more isolated, because there are countries in Europe which are isolated. There are countries in Europe which are in the war. They cannot attend conferences, but they can turn on a YouTube channel. They are on YouTube all the time. So a YouTube channel might help us keep in contact with colleagues or potential colleagues from countries that are not so fortunate and from where it is more difficult to travel or simply more expensive to travel. Okay, so that's my main proposal, to kind of build up an online community. And I'm very glad we have a new website on which we can put links to this new community. And I'm very glad we have a Twitter account. I will do more about the Facebook because I'm more on Facebook than on Twitter.
and I can get involved more on the Facebook thing. I actually Facebooked Kuhn's advertisement that Centaurus is the best quoted, best indexed journal in history of science. So I hope that will become prominent. It was almost live, almost broadcasted live. Thank you very much.
Okay, now it's Brigitte's turn to give a preliminary assessment of the conference, but let me just say my own opinion of it. It has been. You want to ask a question?
I'm just wondering, given that you're presenting this virtual world, how you plan the in-between meeting, which has been a tradition, and so do you see that as a in-person, a virtual thing, and how does that fit into our efforts to get more members or get members more engaged in between? I mean, I think it's interesting to.
Because I just wanted to, I wanted to mention the in-between meeting. I will try to do at least part of it in person in Bucharest. So I'm kind of inviting you to Bucharest next September. But, given the kind of challenges we have, given the kind of world we are living in, I think we should prepare it for a very large online component for that meeting, or for before or after that meeting, to have some online, not so much backup, but kind of correlative meeting, online meeting, that might help to, for the in-between meetings. We won't be able to accommodate too many people in Bucharest. Our institute, who knows very well, is very small in terms of rooms that are available. The Faculty of Philosophy that I'm associated with is also not a very large institution. We don't have this kind of auditoriums in Bucharest, unless we want to go into the Romanian parliament, which I hope no one wants to. But if you do, if you do want, I can think of something. So yeah, I think that we should really get into hyperspace, as well as keeping up some, of course, biennial conferences in person. But we should go more into the hyperspace.
As I said, it's Brigitte's turn to give her own assessment of the conference. Let me give my own very brief assessment of the conference. It has been truly fantastic and impeccably organized. I mean, I'm really impressed. I think that all of us have been very impressed about, how you did everything. Everything worked very well, and thank you so much. I may have difficulty remembering your names now, but we all see you. You know who you are. You've done a great job. It's a great service to our society.
So, thank you. I'm not sure you're familiar with American TV, but there's a show that is called The Biggest Loser. Now, this show is about really fat, obese people who are selected because of that, and who, through a series of workout, diet, and so on, get to a path of healthier life. So you keep this metaphor in mind, and I'm sorry if it seems gendered, but I can tell you that on The Biggest Losers, there are men and women anyway. So I want to just give you a couple of numbers. Like, they weight the people every week, the people goes down, or the weight goes down, up, and so on. Eventually, usually it ends well. That means they are slimmer and more in shape. So I want to have this as a metaphor for the journey that started in 2018 spring, before the London conference. And then I was approached by a former president of this society, Tony Mallet, saying, okay, we'd like to have something in Brussels. Do you know how we could do that? And so on. It was Belgium, but then Brussels, and so on. So I got information from Lisbon, from Prague, and it was at that time, I have the numbers, 450 papers, and attendance 480, 550. Then came London. London was a conference that was co-organized with the British Society for the History of Science, and Frank James, who is here, knows all about it. And it suddenly grew very large. So we had to rethink about our size. And then the expectation was that we would be able to accommodate between 700, 800, maybe more in Belgium. Then what happens next is COVID. And as you all know, Bologna went in line. So we were left with thinking about our alternatives. And we decided, for reasons that some of you have experienced, hopefully, were obvious, that we would not go hybrid. So it was either online or in person. This means that until a month ago, we were not sure we would have the pleasure of welcoming you here. This also means that we had to prepare everything for welcome you here, nevertheless, which in the end all worked out. Then that is the moment where our slimming process started. We received 81 session proposals, of which 80 were selected. We received 172 individual papers, and no matter what you thought about the papers of this conference, you have to know that a few were nevertheless rejected, and we selected 157 papers. Total 450 papers. That was in June. By July 7, which was the deadline to be registered, slightly more than 50% had completed registration. And this is why I hope you don't believe that in Belgium we cannot count until 150. If there are sessions, you know, if it doesn't start at 1 and the numerical values don't follow up, it's because a lot of things disappeared, disintegrated, whatever happened. So by August 20, we were indeed at the numbers you showed on the slide, 407 participants. Actually, a lot of people interested in only listening to us, which is quite an honor. But basically, that was a loss of more than 30%. We are on the way of losing weight. The changes of the program, I cannot tell you, but they can tell you what a nightmare it was. And I think it was also a nightmare for those who were reading the programs. But anyway, and we had numerous changes in the program. Now, when you lose weight, I don't know what experience you have, but there are a couple of problems. The problem is, of course, the elasticity of the skin, and that's what this team endured. Then there's another problem, that you don't lose weight evenly. So the thing is that we had to rebuild thematic sessions to make sense, you know, with the individual papers that were left. But in the end, what is the idea of losing weight? I mean, why do you do that for? You do that to get healthier. And we got healthier. First off, circulation, you know, cardiovascular thing went well. We only had one venue. We didn't make you run through 2 venues. And you are rejuvenated, hopefully. And I must say, and I want to end on this positive note, that of course we have all these losses and people canceling, and it increased by day. I mean, the cancellation went to 10 per day during the conference. In the end, we have a very high number of very young scholars, that is pre-doctoral students, 25%. And I think this, with on the top of having you all here, is quite an achievement. So to sum up, in 2018, I accepted a mission. No comment why I accepted this mission. The mission more several times, but whatever mission it was, I think it is accomplished. Thank you.
You want to say? The company has a present for our dear Brigitte for the wonderful job she did with her team. Yes, I will take it back afterwards. You don't mind me, but it's not yet. It's
Present if you take it back afterwards.
it's not yet finished. It waits some pictures, some photographs of the last thing.
Ooh. I recognize some of the handwriting and not all of them. I'm very grateful. This is very meaningful to me. I don't know who initiated that, but this is the most meaningful gift you could have made to me. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll now pass the floor to Dana, our new president.
Oh my God. Right. So let's say it's late and we had a fantastic conference and it's amazing that it took place. And thank you again, the organizing team and Brigitte for doing it, because against all odds in a way. And my special thanks are going to Anna and Theo, who have taught me so much these past 2 years that I cannot even thank them enough, no matter how much I will thank them. I really have learned a lot, and I hope to be able to put some of this to some use in service of the community, and I'm very much looking forward to continue together, Theo. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to Simone and all the others, other members of the scientific board who are always there and were always willing to go together over the difficulties that we have gone together in the past. So we will have more of this, I'm sure. And let's hope that together in the same spirit of friendship and collaboration, we will be able to overcome the challenges that are expecting for us for the next 2 years. And I hope that we will be able to keep the society going and maybe even flourishing, and maybe even going to the level 2.0 or 4.0 or 6.0, whatever it is, the new level in the hyperspace. Thank you very much.